Bible in a Year Live, Chronological Project, Week 33, Day 3, Complete Jewish Bible.
Then all the military commanders, Yochanan the son of Kareach, Izaniah the son of Hoshea, and all the people, from the least to the greatest, approached and said to Yirmiyahu the prophet, I beg you, approve our request, pray for us to Adonai your God for all this remnant. For, while once we were numerous, only a few of us are left, as you can see. Pray that Adonai your God will tell us what direction to take and what to do. Yirmiyahu the prophet said to them, I hear you. All right, I will pray to Adonai your God, as you have asked, and whatever Adonai answers you, I will tell you. I will withhold nothing from you. They said to Yirmiyahu, May Adonai be a true and faithful witness against us if we fail to do any part of what Adonai your God gives you to tell us. Whether it be good or bad, we will listen to what Adonai our God says. We are dispatching you to him so that things will go well with you as we heed what Adonai our God says. 10 days later, the word of Adonai came to Yirmiyahu. So he called Yochanan, the son of Kareach, all the military commanders with him, and all the people, from the least to the greatest, and said to them, You sent me to present your request to Adonai, the God of Israel. This is what he says. If you will stay in this land, then I will build you up, not pull you down. I will plant you and not uproot you, for I am relenting from the calamity I inflicted on you. Don't be afraid of the king of Babel, of whom you are afraid. Don't be afraid of him, says Adonai. For I am with you to save you and to rescue you from his power. I will take pity on you, so that he will take pity on you and cause you to return to your own land. But if you say, We will not stay in this land, thereby not heeding what Adonai your God is saying, and instead say, No, we will go to the land of Egypt, because there we will not see war or hear the shofar sounding its alarm and be short of food, so we'll stay there. Then hear what Adonai says, Remnant of Judah. This is what Adonai Tzivot, the God of Israel, says. If you are determined to go to Egypt and stay there, the sword of which you are afraid will overtake you there in the land of Egypt, and the famine of which you are afraid will pursue you relentlessly there in Egypt, and there you will die. This is how it will be for all the people determined to go to Egypt and stay there. They will die by sword, famine, and plague. None of them will remain or escape the disaster that I will bring upon them. For here's what Adonai Tzivot, the God of Israel, says. Just as my anger and fury were poured out on the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so likewise my fury will be poured out on you if you go to Egypt, so that you will become an object of condemnation, astonishment, and cursing and reproach, and you will see this place no more. Adonai has spoken concerning you, remnant of Judah. Don't go to Egypt. You know for a fact that I have given you fair warning today, for you have been behaving deceitfully against your own interests. You sent me to Adonai your God, saying, Pray for us to Adonai our God. Tell us everything Adonai our God says, and we will do it. Today I have told it to you, but you haven't heeded any part of what Adonai your God gave me to tell you. Therefore, know for a fact that you will die by sword, famine, and plague in a place where you want to go and live. When Yirmiyahu had finished telling all the people everything Adonai their God had said, which Adonai their God had sent him to tell them, the entire speech cited above, then Azariah, the son of Hoshea, Yochanan, the son of Kareach, and all the men with him had the effrontery to say to Yirmiyahu, You are lying. Adonai our God did not send you to say, Don't go to Egypt and live there. Rather, Baruch, the son of Neriah, is inciting you against us, so that we can be handed over to the Casdim to be put to death or carried off as captives to Babel. So, Yochanan, the son of Kareach, and all the military commanders and all the people did not heed what Adonai said, to live in the land of Judah. Instead, Yochanan, the son of Kareach, and all of the military commanders took all the remnant of Judah, who had returned from all the nations where they had been driven, to live in the land of Judah. The men, the women, the children, and the king's daughters, everyone knew Vazaradan, the commander of the guard, had committed to Gedaliahu, the son of Achikam, the son of Shaphan, and Yirmiyahu the prophet, and Baruch the son of Neriah, and went to the land of Egypt, for they did not heed what Adonai had said, and they arrived in Tachpanchi. Then this word of Adonai came to Yerahu in Tachpanchi. With the men of Judah watching, take some big stones and set them with mortar in the pavement at the entry of Pharaoh's palace in Tachpanchi. Tell them, this is what Adonai Tizbaot, the God of Israel, says. I will summon Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babel, my servant, and take him and set his throne on these stones I laid here. He will come and spread his royal canopy over them, and he will come and attack the land of Egypt. Those destined for death, to death. Those destined for captivity, to captivity. Those destined for the sword, to the sword. I will light a fire in the temples of the gods of Egypt, and he will burn those gods or take them captive. He will fold up the land of Egypt like a shepherd folding up his cloak, and leave there victorious. He will also break the standing stones of the temple of the sun in the land of Egypt, and burn to the ground the temples of the gods of Egypt. This word came to Yerahu concerning all the people of Judah living in the land of Egypt, in Migdol, Tachpanchi, Noph, and the land of Patros. Here is what Adonai Tzivaot, the God of Israel, says. You have seen all the disaster I inflicted on Jerusalem and all the cities of Judah. There they are today, ruined, with no one living in them. It came about because of the wicked things they did to make me angry, sacrificing to and serving other gods, whom they did not know, neither they nor you nor your ancestors. I had sent you all, my servants the prophets, sent to them frequently with the message, don't do this horrible thing which I hate. But they neither listened nor obeyed, so as to turn from their wickedness and stop offering to other gods. Hence my fury and anger were poured out and ignited in the cities of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem, so that they became waste and desolate as they are today. Therefore now, Adonai Tizvaot, the God of Israel, says this. Why are you committing this great sin against yourselves? The result can only be to cut you off from Judah, men, women, children, and babies, so that none of you remained. For you continue provoking me with the products of your own hands, offering to other gods in the land of Egypt, where you have gone to live as aliens. It would lead only to your destruction and becoming an object of curses and reproaches among all the nations of the earth. Have you forgotten the wicked deeds of your ancestors, the wicked deeds of the kings of Judah, the wicked deeds of their wives, your own wicked deeds, and the wicked deeds of your wives, which they committed in the land of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem? To this day they remain unhumbled. They have not been afraid, and they have not lived according to my Torah or my regulations that I presented to you and your ancestors. Therefore, here's what Adonai Tzvaot, the God of Israel, says. I will decree disaster for you and destroy all of Judah. I will take the remnant of Judah, who determined to go to Egypt and live there as aliens, and they will all perish in the land of Egypt. They will fall and perish by sword and famine. They will die from the least to the greatest by sword and famine, and they will become an object of condemnation, astonishment, cursing, and reproach. Yes, I will punish those living in the land of Egypt as I punished Jerusalem by sword, famine, and plague, so that none of the remnant of Judah who went into the land of Egypt to live as aliens will escape or remain, to be able to return to the land of Judah. They long to return and live there, but none will return except a few refugees. Then all the men who knew that their wives were offering incenses to other gods, along with all the women standing by, a huge crowd, all the people living in Patros in the land of Egypt, answered Yirmeyahu, as for the word you have just spoken to us in the name of Adonai, we will not listen to you. Instead, we will certainly continue to fulfill every word our mouths have spoken. We will offer incense to the Queen of Heaven and pour out drink offerings to her, as we have done, we and our ancestors, our kings and our leaders, in the cities of Judah, in the streets of Jerusalem. For then we had plenty of food, everything was fine, and we didn't experience anything unpleasant. But since we stopped offering to the Queen of Heaven and pouring out drink offerings to her, we have lacked everything, and we have been destroyed by sword and famine. Then the wives added, Are we the ones who offer incense to the Queen of Heaven? Do we pour out drink offerings to her? Did we make cakes with her image for her and pour out drink offerings to her without our husband's consent? Then Yirmeyahu said to all the people, to the men, the women, and all the people who had answered him back. The incense you offered in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem, you, your ancestors, your kings, your leaders, and the people of the land, Adonai kept remembering and taking note of this insult, until Adonai could no longer bear it. So evil and so detestable were your deeds. This is why your land has become a wasteland, an object for astonishment and cursing, uninhabited as it is today. It is because you offered incense, sinned against Adonai, didn't listen to what Adonai said, and didn't live by his Torah, regulations, and instructions, that this disaster has befallen you as it is today. In addition, Yermahu said to all the people, but especially the women, hear the word of Adonai, all Judah who are in the land of Egypt. This is what Adonai Tizvaot, the God of Israel, says. You and your wives stated your intentions with your mouths and performed them with your hands. You said, we will certainly fulfill our vows that we made to offer incense to the Queen of Heaven and pour out drink offerings to her. Without doubt, you will indeed fulfill every point of your vows. Therefore, hear the word of Adonai, all Judah living in the land of Egypt. I swear by my own great name, says Adonai, that no man of Judah will speak my name again in the land of Egypt, swearing, as Adonai God lives, I am watching over them for harm, not for good. All the men of Judah in the land of Egypt will be destroyed by sword and famine, until none of them is left. And those who escape the sword will return from the land of Egypt to the land of Judah, few in number. And all the remnants of Judah who went into the land of Egypt to live will know whose word will stand, mine or theirs. Moreover, here is a sign for you, says Adonai, that I will punish you in this place, so that you can know that my threats of disaster against you will come true. Adonai says, I will hand over Pharaoh Hophra, king of Egypt, to his enemies, to those seeking his life, just as I handed Zedekiah, king of Judah, over to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babel, his enemy, who sought his life. In the 12th year of our exile, on the 5th day of the 10th month, a fugitive from Jerusalem came to me with the news, the city has been struck. No, the hand of Adonai had been on me that evening, before the fugitive arrived. He had opened my mouth prior to his coming to me in the morning, so my mouth was open and I was no longer mute. Then the word of Adonai came to me, human being, those living in the desolate parts of the land of Israel are saying Abraham was only one, and he inherited the land. But we are many, so how much more is the land given to us to inherit? Therefore, tell them that Adonai Elohim says, you eat flesh with the blood, you raise your eyes to your idols, and you shed blood, and you still expect to possess the land? You depend on your swords, you commit disgusting practices, and each of you defies his neighbor's wife, and you still expect to possess the land? Tell them that Adonai Elohim swears, as I live, those living in the ruins will fall by the sword, those in the countryside I will give to the wild animals to eat, and those in the fortresses and caves will die of the plague. Moreover, I will utterly desolate the land. It will cease taking pride in its power, and the mountains of Israel will be so desolate that no one will pass through. Then they will know that I am Adonai, when I have made the land utterly desolate because of all the disgusting practices they have committed. Now you, human being, your people are gathering and talking about you by the walls and in the doorways of houses. They're saying to each other, each one telling his brother, come, let's go and hear the latest word coming from Adonai. So then, they come to you as people do, sit in front of you as my people, and hear your words, but they don't act on them. For with their mouths they flatter you, but their hearts are set on their own self-interest. So for them, you are like a love song sung by someone with a nice voice, who can play an instrument well. They hear your words, but they don't act on them. So when all this comes true, then, at last, they will realize that a prophet has been here with them.